Hello, welcome back for our match between Last Huzzah and the Expendables. We've got a great match coming up for you. In the red, for Last Huzzah, we've got a Vindicator team. So that's 2 Vindicators, a Neros, 3 Ishkars, and 2 Molluses. And the Expendables have brought their, just precision Sleipnir team. The 2 Sleipnir, Basilisk, Cyclone, Carries, and 3 Sabers.
Yeah, I mean, this Expendables team could be a problem for Last Huzzah. You know, they're really close range. It's going to be a problem getting those Vindicators on top of the BCs.
So as you see from the wide shot here, the whole blue team for the Expendables is warped into max range. The Vindicators for Last Huzzah have warped into 0, but they've left the rest of their team back, including their logistics, or actually, the logistics is a bit closer, and the Molluses are at the very back. If Expendables can pull the same trick they did before of swinging around, getting past the Vindicators without getting webbed, and then catching the Logi, they're going to be in great shape. That's going to be their game plan, so you're about to see that. As the match has now begun, and yes, the entire Expendables team is moving as one unit in a circle around the Vindicators. So we're not going to see any explosions for the very early part of this match.
Yeah, we saw this used to great effect in their previous match, match 2 that you saw today, and it looks as if they're pretty much just using an identical tactic.
Yes, and very smartly, what we're seeing from the Neros of Last Huzzah is excellent maneuvering. What he's doing, Tanapleides his name is, and he's coming in close to his Vindicators. So instead of staying far back where he's vulnerable by himself and can be separated from the pack, he's moving in close to where he knows that these Sleipnirs will be in danger.
Yeah.
Vindicators, we mentioned in the last couple days as well, we'll say it again, they have bonuses that make them very deadly to anything that gets in close. A lot of damage with blasters, close range weapons, and then also a bonus to the strength of their stasis web fires. So if you get in close to one of these things, you will stop, and then you will die.
Yeah.
In that order.
It's pretty much, it's kind of like, basically the Megatron hull is pretty much the Venus Phallic Trap of Eve. It's just like you get in close to it and you just get latched onto, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just dead as soon as you make that mistake.
So we're seeing continued circling by the Expendables team, but it looks like Horny Alice and his Saber is the one that the Last Huzzah guys are trying to catch. We'll see if they can actually manage to do it. What they're doing is they're actually splitting up. They're sending their Sabers separate from the core of the team because the Sabers are faster. They've realized that they're not going to move fast enough with the Sleipnirs to get all the way around and catch the Logis or the frigates, so they're sending the Sabers off to do their own thing, probably under their own fleet commander, while they keep the larger ships still kind of cautiously circling. And we're seeing that now. The Sabers are charging in, going after, looks like the Molluses at the back.
Yeah, it would appear so. And this is another thing that has been very, very good, and it's proved to be very decisive for a lot of teams, is being able to have 2 FCs, one for your frigates and one for your heavier hulls, so that you can split the responsibility. It really works well, and it's something that's been used to great effect.
So we're seeing these Sabers getting chased by drones themselves, so all the damage they're taking is from drones. They're far enough away that they're probably not going to be able to be repped by their Basilisk at this point. So they're on their own. They just need to basically never slow down. They're at the busting speed. If they slow down, those drones chasing them are going to catch them and kill them very quickly. So what they need to do is keep their speed up and then get on top of these Molluses. As we see, the one Mollusk is caught and is shredded.
Straight down.
Nothing can kill frigates as fast for the points as a Saber. They are wonderful for doing that. They're hard to keep alive, though. So they're not very good for tackling. What you bring them for is to execute frigates. And that's what they're doing to these Molluses. And the Neros is taking some damage. We've got a point on the Neros. And yes, as this was happening, the Cyclones and Sleipnirs have charged in and gotten a tackle on the Neros of Tanapleides for the Last Huzzah. Now, he is trying to tank using an ASB, but he's taking way too much damage for that, and he's dropping through armor.
That is a really brave move by the 2 Sleipnirs from the Expendables.
Because they're now webbed.
Yeah, they're now webbed, and they're now right in the range of the Vindicators.
If that Neros can pull range enough, he's only scrambled, he's not webbed. If he can pull range enough to survive, then they'll be in great shape with Last Huzzah. If he dies, though, oh wow, he is surviving in structure at the moment, but he's taking more damage.
Oh.
Still repping. He's going to need to reload his ASB, though, any moment now, and he's taking tiny slivers of a structure out with every shot. Meanwhile, the Cyclone belonging to the captain for Expendables, Hard SP, is taking all the fire from these Vindicators. He won't be able to survive much longer under that fire because he's going to have to reload his ASB as well. The Vindicators are right on top of him.
It would appear that the Basilisk also has shield reps on him, though, so it looks as if he might survive if the Basilisk can keep him alive.
The Basilisk by itself can't rep through 2 Vindicators, so he needs the ASB as well. And once that goes on...
and the Neros for Last Huzzah is now down.
Yes, that Neros going down means that the gambit has been successful. Now, here's something interesting. We're seeing these Vindicators have come in right at 0. You're seeing them right now. They're basically completely on top of the Cyclone. That's actually not ideal. You don't want to be. They're pulling away now. That's much better. You
Yeah.
don't want to be right at 0 with a large blaster ship, because even with an opponent slowed down a lot, your own movement will make it hard for your blasters
Yeah,
to track.
absolutely.
So for a while, their damage wasn't as high as it could have been, and that was what's really going to cost them. Well, part of the cost of the match. There's a number of things that cost the match. Getting the Aneros caught is probably the main one.
Yeah.
But those Vindicators should have been able to kill a Cyclone by now. But for a good 30 seconds there, they were right at 0 instead of sitting at like 2 or 3
Yeah, you can see
kilometers.
now that they've actually pulled out to like 1,500, 2,000
And the
meters.
damage has increased.
The damage has increased.
Yeah.
And
So Hard SP is going to die, but he's going to be trading his Cyclone for every small ship on Last Huzzah. Those Sabres are doing their job of killing frigates, taking down that last Ishkur. The Ishkur of Krakauer is about to explode, and that will leave only the 2 Vindicators left. They're just doing a ton of damage to the Sleipnir of Polly, though. Pandy in his Sleipnir taking a ton of damage. He already caught it with his ASBs. They need to kill these Vindicators fast, because these Vindicators do have a large passive tank to them. They're plated. They can survive for quite a while, and we're talking about all of the damage at this point being concentrated with just the Sleipnirs for Expendables. They've got a lot of damage to the Sabres, but the Sabres get within range of these Vindicators, they'll get shredded.
I think the only thing that they have, that the Expendables have in terms of the Sabres that's an advantage, is that the Vindicator gets a bonus to web strength, not web range.
Yes,
so
but the Sabre needs to be within
Yeah.
that 10 kilometers to do any damage. So the Sabres by themselves can't do anything. This Sleipnir is tanking just fine right now, but once he runs out of ASB charges, he's going to drop like a rock. So they need to kill that Vindicator before he dies. If the Vindicator of Sashenko, the captain for Last Huzzah, goes down first, then Expendables will take it. If he doesn't, then Huzzah can pull this back. This is going to be very, very tough. We're going to have to see exactly what happens here. Both the one of the Vindicators now has tracking disruption on him, but Pandy just can't move. He's wed by 2 Vindicators. You can see he's going 21 meters a second, so they can track him just fine. They've also not made the mistake they made earlier against Hard SP. They've stopped themselves at a little bit of range. So he's, at this point, in a great shape with his shield, but he's going to have to reload soon. So what are they firing at the moment? Let me see here. They've decided to try to shred the Sabres here.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. If the time spent on these Sabres allows Pandy to reload his ASB, then that'll swing it. As we see, the Sashenko's down. I don't think one Vindicator can do it at this point. The logistics will be able to rep the Sleipnir long enough for him to reload against one Vindicator.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a win for the Expendables. Not a huge surprise. We all chose them. But Last Huzzah have done an amazing job here. They came out of, again, they weren't a team that we picked as one of our favorites going into it, but they've done an amazing job, really done a massive run through a lot of these teams.
This is a fantastic use of support again by the Expendables, using those Sabres just to get rid of the frigates early on, and then, just mopping up the support in terms of the Aneros, and then getting rid of those Vindicators.
Yeah. The choice of going after the Sabres was interesting. I'm actually wondering if the Sabres were brought in as bait for this very purpose. Because when because basically that Sleipnir would have needed to reload any moment at that point. The Sleipnir of Pandy was tanking okay, but he was tanking by constantly running his ASB.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have survived through his ASB reload against 2 Vindicators.
So bring the Sabres in, sacrifice the Sabres, keep the Sleipnir
They only
alive.
lost one of the Sabres, but once you bring the Sabres in, you know they're going to die, but losing them at that point when the frigates are gone is much preferable to losing your Sleipnir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that may have been a conscious choice by Hard SP and the Expendables. If so, that was a genius move on his part. As we see the last Vindicator disappear, and that is a win for Expendables. They are going to go up against XXX MIDI next Saturday to see who emerges from the losers bracket on this side. Congratulations to them for another solid win. And we'll see you again in just a moment.